Welcome to the Dangerous Man Podcast, where we talk about how to become a better man, take responsibility for our mission, create value for others, and the many failures and lessons we've learned along the way. Stay dangerous. Welcome back to the Dangerous Man Podcast. This is your host, John Kostohris, joined by our co-host, Adam Thooft.
What's up, boys? How we doing today? As I asked that, and you can't really respond, but
You know, I always pause, and I'm like, are they? I don't hear anything, Adam.
we just hear a voice on the wind. We're doing amazing.
Let's fucking go. That's the shit we want. Bring it, boys.
That'd be amazing.
You know, I hope to do like a meet and greet and mingle and just, be able to get to know our listeners at some point. That'd be definitely life goals of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are just our friends right now, which I love.
Yeah, fantastic.
So if you want to be our friend, accepting applications now. I almost made Adam cough with that one. Good.
I'm a little under the weather, so that helps me get really close to coughing.
Yeah, that's how you know it's a good joke when the person's like out of breath, just losing it.
Yeah, just dying.
Start wheezing and coughing because it's so funny. See, that's how funny I am right there.
Yeah.
So, our kind of a topic we're going to get into right here is special guest Adam Thooft. Also, he's also the co-host, so it's
Wait, so I'm two roles today?
you got to use a different voice, actually.
So, Howard, my name is Adam Thooft. I'm the guest.
I think you need to learn an Australian accent.
So, what we're going to do today, I don't know if this is Australian, this might be more British, but I'm not very good at doing the difference. Like, I feel like sometimes I hear somebody and I'm like, oh, that's Australian rather than British.
It sounds more Australian. I think you're doing good.
I don't know which one's the correct one, besides just calling people blokes or saying like the crevasses or something. I don't know. But anyway.
So, that's Australian Adam. I think you have a story to tell us today, kind of getting into a little bit of, this topic of purpose. Of mission, right? Things we love to talk about, and we have a bit of a reflection, a bit of a story that Adam has, and we want to kind of dive into this idea of what happens when you need a pick-me-up, you need to get back on the course, you need a little bit of fuel in the tank to keep you going towards your mission. So we want to dive into that today, and Adam, why don't you take us away here with a bit of some of your reflection and story here.
Well, do I keep the accent going or do I just drop it?
No, definitely not.
Definitely not? Okay. I was just thinking like maybe we just do this episode in accents, but then people may not know what we're talking about. So we're not taking us seriously.
We just see like a peak in Australian listens. We're like, we're getting a lot from the country of Australia now.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. But anyway. Man. Kind of my experience with this is like, I've experienced kind of lately a little bit of like having to get stuff done, but like not necessarily having like the motivation to go and do it. And so it's kind of like I'm deflated in a way. I think that's a good way to describe it. Yeah. You feel a little deflated. You're not an inflated balloon going towards the sky. But anyway, I think the thing that definitely helped me a lot was being able to like step back and process kind of what are my goals? What is my mission? And we talked about it on an earlier episode doing like peak state writing of your goals.
Totally.
The Grant Cardone method of doing that. And that definitely helps me out a lot. But also like just journaling out kind of like what I'm feeling, kind of my hopes, my dreams, what I'm doing right now. I do that a little bit in prayer as well. Whether that's in prayer or just writing it out and just getting your emotions on a paper. But I did it in prayer, which is it's really helpful for me to be able to process that. And then from there, I'm like, okay, there's a couple of things that are stressing me out right now. So I just had a little notebook, like basically a little memo pad, and wrote out, okay, what's stressing me out at the top?
So the question.
Yeah, what's stressing me out? And then I wrote down a couple of things that are stressing me out. In this case, like one of the things was, I got in a car accident the other day, and I'm like trying to get my car fixed, and it's like still drivable, which is fine. Like I just got the mirror like destroyed.
Yeah,
So
clipped a little bit in the mirror.
yeah. So it's like I need to go get that fixed, and that's stressing me out a little bit because it's like when I driving's a little bit more difficult because I can't see out that mirror or whatnot. And it's something that's like kind of time sensitive, just because it's like you don't want to wait till too long after the accident to get stuff done. So that was kind of stressing me out a little bit, as well as like doing some prep for doing sales stuff. So I'm like, okay, those are the things that I need to focus on taking some action on today, because I know as soon as I get stuff done, my levels of stress, my levels of anxiety are going to go down a lot. And that's the things that are going to take them down the most. So those are kind of like the things to focus on, but it's not like, but I'm focusing it on through the lens of like what's stressing me out, not necessarily like what do I want to do the most today? Because like it could be like, oh, this is the thing that I want to do the most today, but the thing is, there's these other things that you need to get done that are stressing you out that you kind of have to do before you do that thing, in a way. So then it's like, oh, this is the thing I want to do the most today, and then at the end of the day, you find yourself not getting that thing done or doing that thing.
For me, that's having a tidy living space, particularly my bedroom, and so it's a kind of a top priority to get that all cleaned up so that I have that mental clarity and that peace of mind. So
yeah. So you didn't get that thing done. Like at the end of the day, your room is messy, because these other things were kind of stressing you out. Even though
just kind of sends me down a whirl of
Yeah. Whereas if you target the things that are stressing you out, maybe those things that you actually want to get done and do, you're going to be able to get to them a lot easier once you've taken some action on those things that are stressing you out to bring your stress levels down.
Yeah.
It just makes you a lot easier to focus and be in the moment, because you're not stressing about like, oh, I have to get that done, I have to get this thing done. Which I've just experienced to be like very, very helpful for me, to do those things. And like, there's just so much more peace in my life. That's something that I was actually kind of journaling and about today in my prayers, wanting to like have more peace in my life. So it's really cool that like I was able to just like write down what I was stressed about, take some action on it, and now I'm more peaceful. So I like with so many things that do stress you out, by targeting things that stress you out the most, you can give yourself the most peace in your life. And that's what I've experienced through doing this.
Yeah, that's really great, Adam. And a couple questions for you. Just, do you find that how I might put it? There's this sense of commitment and responsibility that a man needs to take over his life and over the actions that need to happen, the work, like you just need to kind of get some grit and get some stuff done. Yeah. That's really going to make a difference for you, for your family, could be like fixing things around the house for a family, for like a family man or something like that. But isn't it interesting that like some of these core values to a man, they actually, if you exercise them, you just find like things like your stress goes down and you know what I mean? Like your needs are taken care of more. Yeah. Isn't it kind of just like, oh, why are these things supposed to be what a man's about? Well, why don't you start doing them and realize how natural your life just like gets better because there's some insight into
and like how lethargic they are to actually like get done. And I think there's something that's like almost recreative about some forms of work. Like recreation, like if you break down the word, it's recreate. So by doing those activities, it kind of recreates you a little bit
Mm.
in a way. So it makes you more, it recreates you into the person you want to be, a little bit more into the person you want to be. And sometimes I think we do a lot of like things like social media, watching movies, TV shows, which aren't necessarily like bad things in and of themselves, but we just do those things sometimes because we're bored.
Sure.
Or because we don't want to be bored. Not because we're actually doing them for recreation in a way that actually helps us like to recreate ourselves to become a better person.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to touch on is like one of my questions that I really like to visit frequently is, throughout the day I do pulse checks, kind of like, what are my needs?
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's just like, I have a bit of a headache and I'm getting really tired. What are my needs? Well, if I reflect a little bit, I'm realizing I'm pretty hungry actually. Oh, okay. Well, I skipped breakfast. Okay, let's go get some food. Let's get some fuel in me, some energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let my body actually have something to fuel off of. Sometimes it's, I haven't been exercising much. Not feeling those endorphins rushing and I don't feel like that boost of testosterone and whatnot. And, those types of things that are really good for our health, for energy, for our mental game, for our mental clarity. Like, how do we push the needle forward in our business, in our career, in our mission, if our mind is just out of the game? It's because, this happened to me this past couple weeks where I wasn't really exercising a whole lot. And part of my discipline, part of my routine, part of my personal commitments was slipping on due to, a variety of different stressors or, things that came up, needed to kind of staying out late a bit, and me needing to take some ownership over reprioritizing and really being on top of my schedule and making sure I'm making time for what do I need? What are my needs? Am I making time for me to take care of myself? For that self-care, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely know.
Am I taking a shower every day? You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, taking a shower, getting exercise. Yeah. I definitely know exercise helps me out a lot. Where it's like, hey, like sometimes when you're really stressed, when you're feeling anxious, when you feel like your life is just kind of crashing down on you a little bit, sometimes you just got to do like the basic stuff. Like, hey, are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating? Are you like exercising and just doing those things? And I think like your body is just going to be healthier, and with your mind is part of your body. Always your brain is. So
that's something my dad actually taught me, because I would get in these fits. I'd get angry. I'd be overwhelmed. I'd be anxious, and he wouldn't really freak out. He wouldn't like be, some dads, they kind of get a little upset by the behavior of their kids. And my dad kind of was like, when's the last time you ate something, John? And me being like, yeah, you got me there. But, I'm starting to learn to ask and look inward there and like, what are my needs? Am I taking care of those? It's funny, these basics come up, but like, what throws you off the most? Honestly, are you eating? Are you sleeping? Are you exercising?
Yeah. I mean,
some of those basics will be what throw you off your mission, and because you're not taking care of yourself. Yeah. You're not aware of what you even need.
I mean, if you think about it, even like babies, when they don't have, when they're tired, when they're overly tired, or they're like hungrier, or like, I don't know, like wet themselves or something, they'll start like crying and throwing like a temper tantrum because they kind of like need something. So that rule almost in some ways like carries on into adulthood. Even though obviously it takes on a different form, because we're not just gonna like,
our parents
I'm hungry,
don't do that for us
I'm gonna
anymore.
start crying. It's like, oh no, I'm like grumpy and I'm not feeling very good. Like maybe I just need to go to bed, like kind of thing.
Yeah, and so it's crucial to begin to understand how to take care of yourself and how to have that self-awareness of what you need. I think most conflicts in relationships, in work, a lot of it comes down to, are my needs being met?
Yeah.
Am I being heard, understood, listened to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if we want to be able to take care of other people, take care of a family, we have to be able to do that with ourselves first.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I want to kind of draw back to what Adam was saying, though, with the reflection of I think that sometimes you need to sit down, get a pen and some paper. And this is what I like to call, I actually did this just the other day myself, Adam, yesterday. I was super out of it. I was really anxious. And I was like, I need to sit down over lunch and just brain dump is what we call it. And I just need to get everything that's in my head onto paper. Just free write. There's nothing sexy about it. No one's going to like read this. It's just, I'm going to brain dump.
Yeah.
And it was like, what am I stressed about? Like, what are chores that need to get done? My room needs to get cleaned. Okay. Oh, I'm stressed about this thing at work. Okay. And just being able to like name it and claim it.
Yeah.
And having in front of me, I'm seeing the whole picture of my life. Okay. What else? Anything else I'm missing? And just getting everything out. And me started to realize, okay, now I understand why I'm feeling. I'm feeling like sad and overwhelmed, and I'm writing down I'm sad and overwhelmed because of, okay, why? And I sit and I pause and I think, and then I go, oh, because, I haven't cleaned my room, and I'm really feeling that, that shame of like, I haven't been getting done what I need to, and it's affecting me. And, just admitting that there's just something so human about us. And I think people begin to move so quickly in life and they forget that they need to take time to reflect.
Yeah.
And they don't practice and develop the skill to identify emotions, to be able to have that self-awareness. And so I think you'll see people just get triggered in anger, in fear. That comes into your work, comes into your family, into your relationships, into your leadership style. And people can't pinpoint why they have these flaws, these character flaws. It comes back down to your needs and your boundaries and how necessary it is for us to learn how to do that. And if we're gonna be men that are strong, if we're gonna be dangerous, if we're gonna be really solid and strong father figures for kids, for our future kids, for other people, as just a leader, they're gonna look to us for strength and how to learn how to do these in their own life. And so I think that's really the heart of the message is, are we taking time to reflect? Because we need to. It helps us fuel our mission. It helps you, Adam, clarify, I need to go get my car. Like get a quote for my car and see if this mirror could get fixed. Well, once you did that, all of a sudden, how did that feel?
I just have a lot more clarity and a lot more peace. And like, I think the point that we're really trying to get at here is sometimes we think, like when I have a bunch of stuff to get done that's stressing me out, sometimes I just need to like just keep going at everything like full kilter. But like, no, sometimes you need to take some time, reflect, know what's actually stressing you out, know what's like knowing what your needs are, and then being like, okay, what do I need to do to meet these things so then I can actually perform at the levels that I need to.
So good, dude. Yeah, and I think some of my final thoughts would just be and some encouragement there. Adam and I are definitely like this is kind of cracking the coconut open.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of coconut milk and coconut water and
the meat.
The
white stuff that you get on donuts.
Oh yeah. And we're going to go on a little journey with this coconut, you could say, diving into really like if we're going to talk about the foundations of being a person, one of them is just the very human element of what we go through with our emotions and our thoughts and our kind of mental life. And there's a lot to talk about in the area of being like, of growing and being formed, becoming better, whatever word you want to use there. But we want to kind of just precurse this by, it's really important to have the self-awareness. And I hope this is kind of a tool I really recommend this brain dump. There's another exercise we're going to drop for you guys, something that I do pretty regularly, which is just kind of taking account of my week, having some reflection on my week, and then kind of looking to the next week and doing some planning for my goals and doing some planning. What does John need to do to move the needle forward? But one of those first steps is going to be that brain dump we talked about.
Yeah.
And so if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, you don't know why, sometimes you just need to sit with a pen and paper and just get everything you're thinking out and start to ask yourself some questions that really can help you give you a lot of clarity. Well, you've been listening to the Dangerous Man podcast. We're dropping episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So subscribe to the show so you'll never miss out. And if you found this episode valuable, we just ask that you would share it with a friend. We want to help more people, Adam and I, become more dangerous men. Join us next time on the Dangerous Man podcast. Until then,
stay dangerous.